Welcome back to another episode. I am Sticks. This is my best friend and co-host D-Lo, and we are too complex. Boy, it's been getting messy, man. The last week, boy, it's been getting messy. But before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because we still got this 600 subscriber goal, and hit that notification bell so you miss none of these bangers that we drop every single week. It's been, of course, it's been like that since like that. But at the same time, the past 4 drops that's done dropped, messy. It won't messy. It won't messy till the last couple of days. But we can get into it. But I want to ask you. I want to ask you about your week. But if you want to jump into it, we can jump into it.
We can stick with the regular scheduled program and get into all of the nonsense here shortly. Week was it was eventful, needless to say. Again, I always talk about my kids, not like certain individuals or what's being applied by certain individuals.
Facts.
So excuse me. So I always talk about my kids. The youngest just started daycare. I mentioned on the last episode. Well, this week, it's something about this house, man. It's sickness always around. He had like a little stomach bug or whatever. So we were dealing with that.
That most likely came from preschool, though, from daycare.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. But it was eventful because when he does get sick, but it doesn't get sick like that. And so his room is a
quarantine.
we got to do something with that right now because he did everything in there. Wife doing good. Daughter's doing good. I'm doing good. Work is picking up, like I've been saying to you for the last month or so. It's starting to be busy, and hectic, but handling it well. Hopefully, it not dies down, but I find a better routine and better process to handle everything there. How about you? How was your week?
Week was good, man. About the same as yours. Just, work has been picking up like crazy because, like I've been saying, I'm finally out of that academy. Finally got time to actually do my job to be able to bring in the big bucks. But other than that, Sam is good. I'm good. My lady's good. Other than we 3,000 miles away, but I see you, baby. But
here we go.
Hey, man, chill out.
You got off of it for a little bit,
man. Chill out, man. Let me show love. Let me show love.
Yeah.
But everything is cool. Just want to make sure that I'm doing the same, like D-Lo said, doing what somebody else is alleged not doing. So we just make sure that we we stay strong in the kids' lives. We here for our kids. I love the kids. I love that gang. I ain't got the hat, but I'm with it. If you know, you know. The side of the hat say if you know, you know. Apparently somebody don't. So we gonna talk about it, man. Let's get into it, D-Lo.
Yeah. You really trying to jump in? Okay. No.
Hit it running, brother.
All right. So listen. So what is going on,
man?
Bro?
I don't know, G.
What in the world is like? Okay, we asked for the beef, and it was called corny for a little bit, and last night. What's today?
Today is
the 4th. May the 3rd. It's May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, my son. But like May the 3rd, 2024 will go down in hip hop history. With the amount of diss that were thrown in the span of time that it was. So we got a lot to talk about with this diss between Drake and Kendrick. But let's start with not how it started, but let's start with Kendrick's response in Euphoria. Move on to the next response that he sent with 616 in LA. Then we're going to get into Drake's Family Matters and also Kendrick's Meet the Grams. All right. So I will say this before we get started with everything. My good brother, Jermaine Lamar Cole, we understand now.
We understand, brother. We're looking at the camera at you, bro. We understand.
Yeah, we understand now. The 2-day return to Cinder was warranted.
Sure.
Because
for sure.
These brothers do not like each other.
They don't.
Kendrick and Drake. But let's start with Euphoria. Sticks, I think we have a difference of opinion on this one.
I think we do.
How do you feel about Euphoria?
Me personally, I listened to it probably about 4 or 5 times. You know, the first time I listened to it, I think I listened to it on the way to work, and I listened to it when I got to work because I got a little bit of time before I get to work before I get started. But I messaged you and told you I thought it was mid. D-Lo was like, huh? Like, what are you talking about? Like, bro, go back and listen again. Like, go back and listen again. So I listened to it probably about 3 or 4 more times. I always pick up on lyrics and I understand the jabs that he was throwing. I just didn't think it was a good diss all around. When me and D-Lo talked about it earlier in the week, he mentioned something that I think is true. I don't like whenever Kendrick is theatrical. I can't stand when he changing voice and being weird. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? I love Kendrick's music. Don't get me wrong. I've listened to every single one of his albums. My favorite album, of course, is the classic Good Kid, Mad City. So I love Kendrick's music. I don't like the theatrics. And I think that's what kind of messed me up in Euphoria. But the disrespect was there. The disrespect was definitely there. You know what I'm saying? Like the cease and desist, talking about, get shit with a throwaway. Talking about a lot, you know what I'm saying? He talked about a lot of stuff in that diss. I just didn't think it was good all around as a diss track. You know what I'm saying? And and speaking of that, there was a lot of people in the hip hop community, such as DJ Academics, Gilly the Kid, Cam and Mace on they podcast. It is what it is. Everybody was saying like the diss is corny right now. Everything was corny. That's what Gilly the Kid said. Cam and Mace was saying that, it don't feel dangerous enough. You know what I'm saying? They don't feel disrespectful enough, but they came back with it. But what did you think about Euphoria?
I mean, so I've told you this last night, but I don't do well on the first listen of anything.
Yeah.
So I had to listen to it a couple times.
For sure.
I mean, even with the stuff that was released last night, other than Kendrick's, because I mean,
it was thrown right at you. Yeah, facts.
Easily, yeah. But even with the ones that have been released lately, I don't know anything. It don't matter who it is. It could be, I don't know. It just takes me a while to digest it. I hear it, but I don't digest it well. So the first listen, I kind of was like, okay, this is all right, but that's just me anyway. Anything. But when I listened to it again, I felt like it was the perfect rebuttal to push-ups.
Okay.
Because everything Drake said about him and his contracts, his height, his lady, all that stuff, he responded in Euphoria, right? So Drake talked about his splits. He said, but you signed to a nigga that signed to a nigga that signed to another nigga. Yeah, facts. You know what I mean? facts. Let's really talk about splits here. Like you talking about mine, let's talk about yours. He also talked about Drake being a culture vulture potentially. And I know there's something that you didn't really rock with. He talked about that. He talked about him acting, change his acting history, but then realistically, he's still been acting it throughout his whole time in hip hop. Not really being a part. It's raining loud. It's raining hard outside, so bro.
Fight through it, brother.
He's I mean, he just talked about a lot of stuff. Not being a good dad, obviously, him changing accents and whatnot. And I know a lot of people don't like Kendrick's delivery sometimes because it, like you said, it is weird. He does do these theatrics. He does put a lot of artsy type feel in it. It gives you a lot of Easter eggs that you wouldn't think that are Easter eggs in his raps and in his tracks. So it does take a lot to comb through and to figure out and to really understand what he's saying. A lot of bars will go over your head, which is what a lot of the hip hop community is saying. Like, man, we just want to hear what you're saying with the wordplay, right? We don't want to have to go through all of this rap research is what it's being called to figure out what you're saying. Right. Whereas Drake on the flip side he's giving you the catchiness, the pop, if you will, of who he is. He's giving you the bangers, but it's not that hard to digest, whereas Kendrick is. Long story short, I felt like it was a good rebuttal though, to push-ups because of everything that he addressed. He came right back and addressed everything to Drake's push-ups.
I agree. And D-Lo said it, but what I didn't really mess with was, moving forward, I kind of feel like why Kendrick is saying it. And if this is the truth, then I can agree with Kendrick. But I just don't like the whole, the whole narrative of him being a bad dad whenever, we all know that that Adonis's mother was a mattress actress and she ain't really working like that. He got to bring in all the bread. So and the way that these days, a lot of money ain't made off album sales. So you tour. That's what J. Cole was saying in his albums. Like, you gotta work to get this bread now in the music industry. You gotta tour. You gotta do shows. And that's what Drake is doing, man. Right. Drake came off a tour with 21 Savage and then went right on the tour with J. Cole. So like he bringing in the bread. And, he said in a diss after that he gonna about to go on vacation. So y'all niggas can do what y'all want to do. But he gotta bring in money, bro. Like he working, and whenever he not working, he with Adonis, and we see it on social media. But from what Kendrick said, he got some more stuff going on. But I'm gonna let D-Lo intro that.
Well, I think though, talking about what you just talked about, I think he is saying what Kendrick was saying about Drake is not, let alone that you have additional children, but he's addressing the acting portion of Drake. Mm-hmm. Right. And so he's saying you're acting as if you're ever present in your son's life, but that's not the case. Whereas me, I take my time putting out stuff because I'm living a normal life, trying to anyway. And then when the time comes, I get the inspiration. I'll release the music on my own time. I'm not feeling the pressures of the industry like you are, or needing the attention like you are, in order to put music out to feel like I'm still relevant. I know I'm relevant. And when I put stuff out, the numbers reflect that.
Facts.
I also think what I didn't mention is, and I can wrap it up after this. I also think in Euphoria, he did a great job of picking at Drake's character lightly. Like he didn't fully go into it, as we saw later on. He just kind of like opened it up, like, let's think about this. Let's think about this. Let's think about this. And another thing that you said earlier in the week was you didn't like how he piggybacked off of arguments that others had said. I thought it was brilliant that he did that, because that's how you win the public opinion most time. If everybody's saying it, let me talk about it, but in a different manner.
And that's also, kind of saying that, the old saying goes, if more than one person is saying it, and it's got to be true, type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, just listen to it because it's got to be true if more than one person is telling you this. But yeah, I can dig it.
Yeah. So then he follows up with 616 in LA.
But that was in response to, why do I always forget the name of the one he did with Pac and Snoop?
Taylor Made, which was taken down.
Yep. Yeah. Go ahead.
And so he responded with, he followed up Euphoria with 616 in LA and did a back-to-back. He pulled a Drake
on Drake.
How you feel about this?
The 616 in LA one was that one to me was way better than Euphoria, because he wasn't initially he was into the theatrics, so he was kind of singing and talking about himself, and staring in the mirror and talking about God and angels and stuff like that, which is cool. But then he jumped in and kicked off talking about DJ Academics, talking about trying to get brownie points, conspiracies, coming out saying that, he got 100 niggas on this team, but a lot of them ready to see his downfall and say that he deserved this beef, that deserved the cooking that Kendrick Lamar is giving him. It was a lot to digest, but at the same time, it was more like he was opening up another, because in the Euphoria he was like, we ain't really got to go there, but if you want to, like, we could go there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got some info that you might, might want to try to keep off wax, but I could go there if you really want to go there type. You know what I'm saying? And then he started open up Pandora's box a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And it was just, bruh, it's getting messy. D-Lo texts me like, bruh, like it's starting to get messy, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because because even Kendrick piggybacked again off of the 20v1 line that Drake dropped in push-ups, and he was like, what you mean 20v1? It's a 1v20 on your side because you got 20 Ghost Riders. So if you really want to bring them out, I can dog on them too. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, it started getting crazy. Yeah, exactly. It was, so I'm like, bruh, like and apparently he's telling Drake, like, you might want to look into your camp, because they really the ones that's giving me all this info. So you got a rat in your camp, dog. Go check the back behind the scenes right there beside you, because you got somebody right there beside you that's letting me know all this propaganda. So we gonna see what happens. What did you think about 616 in LA?
Yeah, so for me, this was warning shot number 2. This was like, all right, listen, I gave you one just to say I know some stuff. You might want to chill. This one was like, all right, I'm gonna have to do this. So Lord, let me pray to God that what he did. He understands. He understands that I'm still a good kid, but this dude is just trying to bring the devil out of me. And that's what happened. Like he basically in 616 in LA, he said, "I'm sorry I live a boring life. I love peace, but war ready if the world's ready to see him bleed."
Then he got into it.
Okay. and then he got into it in the one that we're talking about, the last of the discs that have come out thus far. And then he also, you alluded to him having a mole in his camp, and Kendrick says, "Are you finally ready to play Have You Ever?" That's another thing. In Euphoria, this man played Have You Ever with Drake on that track. And he continues the Have You Ever game here. He's like, have you ever played? Are you finally ready to play Have You Ever? Okay, let's see. Have you ever thought that OVO was working for me? And so that could be, you could look at it a couple of different ways, because I think OVO is underneath Cash Money and all that. Cash Money is underneath
I think Universal. Yeah.
And I think, well, that would defeat. I was going to say Universal is underneath Interscope, but Interscope is underneath Universal, right? Okay, so never mind what I was about to say. But yeah, so then he goes on to say, like, you know, there's individuals that, like you said, that are sitting next to you that are really trying to see your downfall, maybe potentially even get you hurt. They definitely are hustling you right now. They're definitely, you know, giving information about your whereabouts and the things that they want. They're living off of your lifestyle, so on and so forth. So, I mean, Drake, he got not one, but 2 warning shots before it got to the horror film that we witnessed last night with Kendrick's last one.
The 616 was the one where he was like, okay, they saying Euphoria was corny because of all the theatrics. So let me just pray real quick and hit him with the punch. So that's what I liked about 616. I think 616 was a better diss than Euphoria, because number one, he was, like I said, he was, you know, other than the first like minute of the song when he was praying, he was in like a little, you know, melodic voice a little bit, but he punched him from there on out after he got finished with his prayer. Yeah. And I like that straight to the point, straightforward. Like, just talk to me, bro. Give me the info. I don't need all the, you know, the Nicki Minaj kind of energy. I don't need all that. Don't give me. I don't like it when she do it either. So don't give me that. Just punch the nigga in the face. And that's what he did with it. So
I don't know. I appreciate it though, man. I don't know why. Like, I appreciate it. Like, it's a lot of stuff with Kendrick. Sometimes I can't really stomach. I like him as an artist, but his music as a whole, I'll be honest, and I'll probably get a lot of slack for this. Out of the quote unquote big 3, he's number 3 as far as a person that I listen to. That's not saying that he's number 3 on the list, but I find myself listening to his music a lot less than I listen to Cole and Drake. Cole, obviously, because he's from Fayetteville. Like I've said before, I'm supporting him however it goes down.
Right.
Drake is the pop artist. He makes the music that everybody can listen to, that you can play in multiple settings. Kendrick's going to play that music that is the revolutionary. It has a lot of racial undertones, a lot of things that need to be changed about
the world itself,
our living conditions, so on and so forth. Right, the world in itself, Tupac-ish, if you will.
Agreed. That's a good analogy. That's a good comparison.
But like, it's not to say he doesn't make good music, because he does. It's just it can get kind of taxing to the brain trying to understand what he's saying.
Agreed. I agree with that.
So this is where the messy really starts to kick in.
Out. Yes, it does.
You got Drake released last night at, I think, 11, sometime in that range. He releases Family Matters, and basically Drake is saying, "Oh, you trying to say that I'm not who I am? Okay, well, let's talk about you, Kendrick. Let's pull out some of your skeletons and the things that you
For
say
sure.
that you doing and what you actually doing out here. What's up with this one? How you felt about this?
So this one was a good diss too to me. He was, yeah, man. He was talking about how, you know, he's still being he's still cheating on his wife because he don't go back home to Compton, but he got a house in New York to live that bachelor life because he still ain't right. Like, he talked about it in Mr. Morale and the Big Step. He talked about it how he was, you know, how all the infidelity was going on with him and his wife, but him and Whitney. But Drake saying, "Oh yeah, we know because it's still going on up here in New York, but you don't want to go back to Compton. You ain't really going back to Compton for real. You really." You're not doing nothing in your community like you say you are. You know what I'm saying? Then talked about how he really like white women, but he keeps saying Drake not to say the N-word no more. But then he talked about, you know, DV and, you know, domestic violence DV and how he beat, you know, he was like, do you be beating her up digging yourself the fist because she bigger than you? That was kind of funny. I was like, bro, y'all niggas wild. But it was like, dog, like they really get it. And did you see the video of the diss track? When he had time to put a video out of him beating up the Good Kid, Mad City van, basically destroying the van. Yeah. I'm like, yo, y'all is going crazy.
He went to the New Ho King restaurant.
Mm-hmm. So
that's the real winner of this.
The real winner of this whole thing is that restaurant for real, because that restaurant is making money right now, bro. Like, he's making money right now, but they going crazy, bro. Like, he even came out and said that one of K Dot's children is really Dave Freeze. Dave Freeze, if I'm not mistaken, is his manager, I believe. Kendrick's manager. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he said didn't Drake said it in his in the rhyme. He was like, "It's crazy your GM is the BD of your BM."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says because your GM is the he says don't make it Dave Freeze because because if your GM is your BM secret BD, then this is all making plenty fucking sense to me. So yeah, bro. Yeah. And then he goes on to say about he talks about hands on your knees, shake that ass for Drake, not shake that ass for free. That was funny to me too. So I was like, yo, this is crazy, bro. Like, they really going crazy on each other, and they just bringing out a lot of skeletons in the closet that, you know, ain't nobody really know. And if all of these things are true, they both are hitting with some. This is probably one of the best disses ever, because you would have diss tracks in the past. Of course, you know, you got Hit 'Em Up, you got Ether, you got Takeover, you got No Vaseline. All of them were just one song. They might have came back one time and then it was squashed. These mugs going hit for hit, low key, like round for round, like low key, like it's battle rap for real. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think it's entertaining for sure, but it's getting messy. And if it keep going, it's gonna get even messier. What you think about me? What you think about Family Matters?
I feel like it was a lot of information that Drake released in this one. But I'll be honest with you, dog.
You didn't mess with Family Matters?
I like the. I can't say I like the information that was released, because I mean it's damaging, and you know we want to try to keep the peace as well as we can, but I don't know if we can keep it now.
These days it ain't happening.
And you know, we like drama. The world likes drama, so this is where the drama begins and where the mess
Too
starts.
Complex
right?
don't particularly like drama, but the world does. It says,
yeah. Too Complex doesn't like drama. There you go. Good. I'm glad you dressed it up. But it's just, I don't know. I think it was the switching. Like, he was trying to switch like Kendrick did in Euphoria, and it didn't
hit like that for you.
It didn't hit like that. Like I said, it takes me a couple times to listen to something, and when I first heard, I was like, oh, he talking about this, oh, he talking about that. But then when I listened again, I'm like, okay, yeah, he talking about that. Why is he rapping like that? Like that second one. The second was the I didn't really like that.
Yeah. The K, you ain't fuck with the cadence.
I didn't really like
I
that.
actually like the cadence. I mean, because it wasn't.
I didn't really like that.
Because it was to me, if you gonna rap like that fluid throughout. Don't change it up. You know what I'm saying? That's just for me, because with Euphoria, he'll start off with one cadence and one beat, and then he'd be high pitch, low pitch, high pitch, low pitch. Then he'll go to real low. Then he go back to high again. I'm like, bro, just fucking rap, nigga, just rap. Like, what are you doing? But this one, it was to me, it was cool. I messed with it. You know what I'm saying? It was. But what really hit? I mean, if you can, I guess it's kind of contradicted to what I said about Kendrick, but I can mess with it if you in that melodic voice, you actually flowing and you hitting some really hard information, then cool. But that's what K-Dot was doing in Euphoria, and I didn't really like it like that. I thought it was mid. But the thing we didn't talk about though was the fact that Kendrick in Euphoria made it seem like Drake sent a cease and desist, but he, according to Drake, he didn't send a cease and desist for like that. What happened? According to Drake, he ain't seen a cease and desist. But then he talked about how it was really Kendrick that sent Tupac's lawyer to him to tell him to take. Why do I keep forgetting the name of that song, bro? Taylor Made, to get Taylor Made taken down as well. So I mean, it's a lot going on. There was a lot going on, man.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so let's talk about that. Yeah, because we did forget to talk about that, and I did mention how in Euphoria, Kendrick was picking at the characteristics of Drake, and he was piggybacking on a lot of the arguments that others people have made prior to in other battles or beefs that Drake has had in the past and in the present as well. And so with the cease and desist, who else said that he sent the cease and desist?
Rick Ross did, didn't he? Yeah,
Rick Ross said it. So that's a pattern, right? That's a pattern. And in court, if you can prove a pattern of criminal activity, usually you can get the person convicted. Facts. Right. And so if he sent it one time and then we don't know exactly why he did it for French Montana's project, according to, because Rick Ross said it. We don't know why he did it, but we can only imagine that if he's done it before, he'll do it again. But then he has an actual motive to send a cease and desist for like that. One, because it's three people teaming up against him, and then two, because of the volatility that Kendrick came on the track with. So we can understand if he's done it before, he definitely would do it again with this particular track. The other one is Pusha T's argument is you hit a kid from the world that nobody knew about, and you were about to like do a press run with his name or whatever being a part of the Adidas run, but then you backed out of that. So no. You gonna show these kids and Meet the Grams. he does it again. So I feel like, again, Kendrick, I know a lot of people don't like Kendrick because of, it's hard to follow Kendrick because of the theatrics, because of the amount of activity that you actually have to do, thought that you have to put into what he's saying. But when he goes full circle, it's like, oh, okay, I see what you was doing the whole time. Like in Euphoria, he says, I can tell you calculated. What did he say about being calculated? I can tell you calculated, but not. I gotta look it up.
Honestly,
yeah, let me look it up real quick. But basically, he was saying like, I already know how this is gonna go. Like you're trying to dictate how this is gonna go, but I've been planning this for quite some time. I already know what you're gonna say. I already know what you're gonna the diss that you're trying to pull on me. He basically said, superpowers get neutralized. I can only watch in silence. I calculate you're not as calculated. I can predict your every angle, fabrication stories on the family front because you heard Mr. Morale. So he's like, okay, I know you're going to talk about my family. Cool.
Because Drake did bring up the aunt. He said, I want to talk to your uncle, the real man in the house, which he was talking about the aunt that transitioned. And yeah.
Right. And so I brought all of that up because before the last two had been released, when he released Euphoria, it had been hinted that he had a 19-minute track that he recorded against Drake. And so if that is the case, he actually
literally dropped
did,
3 6-minute tracks, so 6 minutes and some change tracks. So yeah,
right. Well, the second one was
like 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. Yeah.
6. Yeah. So he definitely had this all planned out and tied it up real nice with a bow, leading into Meet the Grams. And this is
that's the one
where it gets messy. And for me, I've the theme for me has been, it takes me, I gotta listen to it multiple times. It ain't taking me multiple times on this one. The first one, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, damn. Yes. So how you feel about
Meet
this
the
one?
Grams was a letter to Drake's family, literally. He talked about Adonis. He talked about Sandra, who was his mom. He talked about Dennis, who was his dad. He alluded to a secret baby girl that Drake got out there, and then talked.
He said that. We didn't say that.
No. Did I say we?
No, I know.
Yeah.
No. I'm just saying. I'm playing. That's what he said. We didn't say
facts.
that.
Not facts. Then he alluded to a secret baby girl. Then he left a message for Drake. I'm like, bro, you talking to Adonis as if he's your stepson. Then talking to his kids saying that they raised a piece of shit son, and saying that his parents correct.
His parents, correct. His kids.
He talked to his parents, Dennis and Sandra, saying that they raised a piece of shit son, and he thinks people like him should be offed, basically.
Right.
Then talk to the baby girl, saying like you don't want to grow up in the atmosphere that your dad is portraying, making him seem like he another Diddy, basically. And then was talking to Drake like bro, like it's one of them things. It's one of them diss tracks that you, like D-Lo said, you ain't got to listen to 2 or 3 times to understand. You understand immediately. Right. You understand exactly what he's saying. So like this one is one that if Drake does have something else in the clip, he gonna have to fire off. I know he said in Family Matters that he was gonna take a vacation. Nah, bro. Delay that, because this is one that you got to let us know, like, is this true? Like, do you have some more illegitimate kids that you ain't telling us about, that you ain't taking care of? Like, is this for real? And that's where I kind of flipped on his head, because in Euphoria I was like, man, all this talk about being a bad dad, and I'm sensitive to that. D-Lo know that. Like, I have changed my whole world, low key, my whole life. I moved across country, drove cross country, just to be closer to my daughter, to be able to have that relationship with her. Like, so I changed my whole life around to be a good dad. And it's sensitive to me whenever they talk about other guys not being good fathers, whenever not that I think that they are, but I see that they putting in some effort, so to speak. Especially somebody like Drake, who has a career, who's on the road, who's an entertainer, who the time that he has, I would like to think that he's spending it with his son, even if people do think he was hiding from the world. But then this one, it's like, nah, bro, like, you got some more out there that you ain't taking care of. You only taking care of Adonis because somebody else brought him out. So now you're gonna have to do something with this one because I'm talking about it. So like so that's where they flipped on his head, like, dang, is he really a deadbeat for real? Like, do I really need to rethink what I thought about in Euphoria? So I was like, okay, cool. What did you think about Meet the Grams?
So I originally, when I first heard it, I remember I told you I felt like I was watching a soap opera. When I listened to it the other 4 times, I felt like I was watching a horror film.
It was a silent room.
Yeah, because like when you thought Drake had put out the nuclear missile that everybody said that he had in the clip, Kendrick immediately comes back with this, and then like you said, he just talked to everybody that he possibly could to tell them about Drake and their role that they had with raising Drake, or creating Drake to be the person that he is today, and even so going so far as to talk about Adonis, and then this unknown daughter, and then possibly others out there as well. But then at the end, once he addresses all of those individuals, he comes to Drake and just basically slashes him. Death by 1,000 cuts. Like, just again picking at his character of who he is, or alleged who he allegedly is. Again, Kendrick said that. We didn't say that. It was just a massacre.
It was.
And it was 6 minutes long. And from tip to buzzer. No, I said tip to buzzer. I didn't say tip to.
Yep. I'm glad to hear you, right?
Yep.
Nope. Yep. Can't do it.
Yep. Can't do it. I said tip to buzzer.
I feel you.
Yeah. So, okay, I'll go one better for you. From tip off to buzzer. There you go. Yeah. But from start to finish, everything was directed at Drake. Heavy, easy to understand, easy to digest. It wasn't really like a lot of lyricism in it, but he pieced it together very well. And this is the thing about why the dissing and the beefs, to me, I know it gets a lot of energy. I know it gets a lot of attention. I know it is what we quote unquote want to see, but not really. Because when it gets to this point, it's just like, for me anyway, I'm like, damn, we need to piece it up now. Like, all right, y'all say what y'all need to say.
It's time to fight.
all of the cats out the bag, the skeletons out the closet, the dirt has been digged, the graves are ready to be laid, covered up. Yeah, I mean, nah, man,
now you gotta fight. You gotta fight now.
We can't. It's no coming back from this now. Like, they gotta, whenever they are anywhere within a mile of each other, they automatically gotta meet up and throw their hands.
Facts.
I mean, Kendrick just let everything out. So, I mean, the stuff that was implied in this track, the eerie beat, it was just blood everywhere. That's why I'm like, that was a horror.
Yeah, film. I agree with you, bro. Like, who you think winning the beef right now?
I think Kendrick is winning the beef.
I think
honestly,
winning the beef too. And that's
it's just with that last one.
The last one is really the one that hit the nail on the coffin. Was the nail in the coffin, because it's a lot of things in there said that he talking directly to his family, bro, and alluding to an illegitimate child that he's not claiming, or not. He might claim her, but he's not showing it to the world. And he's acting, man. That was the one. That was the one.
Yeah. It's just like, so Drake thought, all right, he said what he needed to say. He got his two out the way. Let me go ahead and release this nuclear missile about what I know, what I found out, and let me go on a duck off, because this is going to be over. Nobody's going with him.
Yeah.
But then literally 30 minutes later, Kendrick came back with more of a nuclear missile. He released his nuclear, and then it was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad, bro. It was pretty bad. So, I mean, y'all let us know in the comment section who y'all think is winning the beef. If y'all even interested in the beef, if the beef is entertaining to y'all, you know what I'm saying? If you think it's corny, if you think, you know what I'm saying? I thought it was corny initially. I don't know how D-Lo felt. I think he might have thought it was kind of, it was what it was. But I thought it was corny initially, but over the past 2 days, over the past 48 hours, it got real. It got real. Yeah. So is this what y'all wanted? Basically, because this is what everybody was saying in the media, that it don't sound dangerous enough. It's corny. It don't sound like, hit 'em up. It don't sound like whatever. Dumb, so, but see, when you think of battle rap, when you think of rap beef, you think people are going to come out and say, they just going to be, it's going to be in your face, like, I'm talking to you, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and this is what I feel about you, your family, the team you roll with. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what Jay-Z, Nas did. That's what Ice Cube did. That's what Biggie and Pac. But that's what Pac did. They always assumed that Who Shot You was about Tupac. Who knows if it was or not? The media made it seem like it was, but that's what they did. They talked directly to somebody, and it was hard hitting information. This, that, and the third. So this didn't start off like that. It didn't start off like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So now, if we got beef, people were saying it was corny. Now it's beef. Now they got beef. So who knows?
Yeah. I mean, I get that, man, but you referenced the Pac Biggie one and how the media blew that up. And now with social media, you have all of these reactors and whatnot reacting to this stuff. You have the media itself reacting to it and giving their take on it. We all know, like, the media put stuff out of proportion. They spin stuff for their narrative. And we don't really know these individuals.
For sure.
We can only assume like they're releasing this information. Is it true? We have no idea if it is or not. But because it's on wax, because they're saying it in the manner that they're saying it, in the situation that they're saying it, in the moment, we're taking it for what it is and believing that is to be true. So there are people that these individuals are actually hurting, and these individuals that are around them could be dangerous or not. I don't know. Maybe their families aren't dangerous, but we all know that they have entourages and whatnot who serve a purpose. It could get, I hope it doesn't. I pray it doesn't, but it could get actually dangerous. And so when people say it's not dangerous enough, to me, that's ignorant.
Agreed. I can dig that. I can dig that.
Let's keep it on wax. Let's say what we need to say where we kind of get to that point to where it's like, oh no, you can't say that. But
but you just said they got to piece it up now.
That's what I'm saying. They got to piece it up. When I say piece it up, I mean they just got to be like, all right. We said we need to say, like bro,
peace,
all right,
like peace and happiness, not peace. Not throw the ones type.
No, not throwing the ones and twos. I'm talking about like actually balls. Dead and everything. yeah. I'm talking about dead and it. Like, all right, we said we need to say, I don't like you, you don't like me. We ain't saying nothing else. Cool. All right, we get
That's
it.
a fact.
But
I hear you.
I don't feel like it ain't gonna be that. It's just
Drake gonna have to say something else. He gonna have. If he don't, then cool. Then it's pieced up. But just know that Kendrick won the beef. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's the case, if you really want to win, you got to say something else and address this letter that he said.
I mean, he said, let me see you push a T. You better all spin it back on him than pushing me. And now I see he was not playing.
He was not playing. He was not playing. But
anyway, that's the end of that.
We off of it. But moving on to the next topic, man. So it was something interesting that came across my phone that I brought to D-Lo. Was the story of Jimmy Smith. And who we talking about is Jimmy Smith from the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was originally drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, my favorite team. If y'all can see that right there on the wall. If y'all can see it in the frame, it's a Dallas Cowboys framed autograph picture on there. But he was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys in in 1992, round 2, pick 36. And he was meant to be the sidekick to Michael Irvin. And Michael Irvin brought him up and was making him, because Michael Irvin was Mr. Showtime. Like he was that guy, you know what I'm saying, in Dallas. And it just didn't turn out that way in Dallas because he had some injuries that backfired on him. And they were saying that he had some domestic, some DV allegations and some drug use problems that he was having out there in Dallas. But then, so he ended up getting cut and wasn't on the team. 95 rolls around. Here come the expansion teams, the Carolina Panthers, Jacksonville Jaguars. Jimmy Smith was working a regular job, and his mom was like, go try out. We're going to make sure you get down to the Jacksonville, go try out for this team. It ends up having what I believe, and this is what the question is for the segment, is what I believe was a Hall of Fame career. He's been on the ballot every single year since he's retired, but has not made it in yet. But there are people who have similar stats that have made it in, low key. So D-Lo. Story of Jimmy Smith, man. Do you believe he's a Hall of Famer? And what do you think he believes belongs to? He deserves to be in that prestigious class.
After doing a little bit of research, I feel like yes, he should be a Hall of Famer. He played 10 years with the Jags, right? He played from 95 to 2005 was the end of his career. And so you mentioned he was drafted by the Cowboys, who he did not even play for. He was drafted by them, but he didn't have a lot of stats.
Any stats at all? Yeah,
right. He didn't have stats with them. But in his career with Jacksonville, he ended with 862 receptions, 12,287 yards, 67 touchdowns. He won his 2 Super Bowls with the Cowboys, but Jacksonville had in their expansion, their young careers at the time, and I mean it's still young organization history at the time, and they're still relatively young, 30 years now, I believe. They didn't go to the Super Bowl, but they had some
major success,
some deep playoff runs. Right, he's a 5-time Pro Bowler. He has more receiving yards than Calvin Johnson and 3 touchdowns touchdowns receptions behind Andre Johnson, who both are in the Hall of Fame. So if we're going strictly off of stats, I believe Jimmy Smith is a Hall of Famer, deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I know, he's not that. You get into, when it comes to Hall of Fame, you get into the name, the notoriety, the name recognition, and people, we know Jimmy Smith, but he's not like, when it comes to top receivers that have ever played a game, I don't think he comes across as the first person you think about. Could be a little bit to do with, and I don't want to go here, but could be a little bit to do with he went to an HBCU. He didn't have that success initially coming out of college like you see with a lot of the players of that time that were a part of the HBCU teams, and then went into the league and they immediately found success. Or if they didn't find it in the first year, the second year is when they took off and just kept running with it. Jerry Rice comes to mind. Shannon Sharp comes to mind when I think of stuff like that, and multitude of other individuals as well. Because he didn't see that success initially, and because it took him a little bit of time until he got to the expansion team. I think this is the reason why he's been on the ballot, but he hasn't been gotten in. I think eventually he will get in. He deserves to be in. His numbers say he deserves to be in. But because of the name recognition, because there are other individuals at the receiver position that you think of when it comes to receivers that need to be in the Hall of Fame, he's not up there. It's probably why he's off that list. Chad Johnson's another one. Like, I would think he has more receptions, I want to say, than Chad Johnson. Let me go back. I want to make sure I'm telling the truth. I think he has more receptions than Chad Johnson, but Chad Johnson has more. I want to make sure I'm telling the truth for. Yeah, so he has more receiving yards than Chad Johnson. So, I mean, but to me, like, Ocho had a time frame where he was unstoppable.
For sure. He was my favorite receiver in the league at one point, yeah.
Right. He's still out. His name recognition is still pretty big because of all the things he's contributed to and he's a part of right now. And so I would think if Chad Johnson was to get in, Jimmy Smith definitely deserves to be.
I think he does too, man. But I think it's, how whenever you got rookies coming into the league, you got draft picks coming into the league, and they fall in the draft because of character issues, right? I think this is the same thing going on with Jimmy Smith, because he has multiple run-ins with the law because of drug possession and DUIs and things of that nature. Like, just going down the list real quick. In 2003, was suspended for 4 games for violation of the drug policy. 2008, arrested at a DUI checkpoint for open beer and marijuana in his car. 2009, he was taken in and arrested for that white girl and marijuana. And then I ain't know if I could.
The white horse.
I ain't know if I could say that on YouTube, but
Yeah.
And then he in 2013. He ended up serving a 6-year prison sentence for drug possession and weapons charges. So it's got to be a lot of character assassination. I don't want to say assassination. He assassinated his own character, to be perfectly honest. But just the story of Jimmy Smith about how he came into the league, 2nd round draft pick, was meant to be the sidekick of Michael Irvin. Didn't really happen that way because of injuries and malpractice, low key, because he went in for an appendix surgery. He was out for the season for that, and then the next season came back and he was still having the same pains, and they had some leakage in his intestines, so he had to be out for the next season after that. So his rookie season, played 7 games, no stats, and then the next 2 seasons he was out for injuries. Went to Philly, they picked him up in Philadelphia. He didn't play a single game. He was released, so he's back at home, just working a regular job. His mom, it was his saving grace. Hey, go down there to Jacksonville and try for that team. You deserve to be in the NFL because you are amazing. And ended up having a Hall of Fame career in them 10 years that he played in Jacksonville. So me personally, I think he deserves to be in. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a lot of things going. And I mean, we all know how Michael Irvin was down there in Dallas and his situations with, the white horse. So maybe that was a little bit of influence.
All of that was after his career.
That was during his career too. That was during his career too. He had some issues with that as well. And maybe that was a little bit of influence on Jimmy too. Who knows? But Jimmy Smith talks highly of Michael Irvin to this day about him being the man that taught him everything he knows about the receiver position and actually gave him and taught him how to be a big play receiver. So he talks highly of Mike, but that could, allegedly, I'm not saying that Mike did this, but Mike Irvin did this, but allegedly that could be a lot of why he got into the situation he had with his addiction too. So who knows, bro? But I just thought it was an interesting story to talk about how this man who from 95 to 2005 was amazing, led the league in touchdowns for a couple of seasons, led the league in receptions, led the league in yards, and nobody talks about him. Nobody talks about it because of, like D'Lo said, name recognition. There's people who have less yards, less touchdowns, less catches than him that are in the hall, but this man is not, and it's got to be something to do with his character, man. So I just thought it was an interesting topic to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, character is always going to play. I shouldn't say always, because I'm sure before media is the way it is and how we hold sports near and dear to our hearts nowadays, I'm sure back in the inception of football and professional sports in America, there were things done that's like, those people did that, really? Yeah. But they're all in the Hall of Fame.
True.
So, but nowadays, because it is a prestigious honor, because they want to keep it as clean as possible as they can without any type of tarnishing and stain on a person's character or even in how they carry themselves. A great person with this would be Terrell Owens, who didn't really ever get into much trouble legally off the field. However, he was heavily antics on the field. He had a lot of spats with his teams. People call him the team killer. So Skip Bayless is known for calling him the team killer or whatnot. So, even he had a struggle getting in. It took him second, third time before he got into the Hall of Fame. He wasn't the first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So that's just the nature of the business right now. It should be strictly about what happens on the field to determine if you are, but I understand them trying to keep the name of the Hall of Fame, keep individuals in it that embody the whole body of work as a human, not just an athlete as well. So yeah, I get it, but
yeah, it is what it is. I mean, you mentioned some names in there: Andre Johnson, Calvin Johnson, Chad Johnson. Dan Johnson is going crazy, but it's but they were around whenever social media was just popping off for real. Like Calvin Johnson was in the Facebook era, and then Chad and Andre were kind of more so whenever Instagram started to pop, and it was a little bit more social media.
No,
they were. I think they might have been all around that Facebook era because
they're about the same time.
Yeah. But
Chad might be the youngest of the individuals.
He might be, but when Jimmy Smith was coming into the league, there was no social media. He came in 95. Whenever he retired is whenever social media started to really, really pop off. Facebook started getting going crazy. That was the first one, and then everything followed after that. And the media started really getting a lot more into sports, and it's just a different. So D'Lo's point about namesake and having that name recognition really does hit now whenever it comes to Hall of Fame induction and stuff of that and things of that nature. So I think he deserves to be in, and D'Lo says the same. So we're gonna see how everything works out for him moving forward in these next ballots. But character assassination, man, whenever you assassinate your own character, sometimes it keeps you from getting to where you want to go. And he has some accountability in that.
We're going Ryan Garcia.
Viral clip.
Bet. All right, so around this time is when we start to get flooded with the same disappointment every year around this time when you're talking about the NBA or NFL draft. Social media is always up in arms when you talk about black athletes dating white women. There's a viral clip that it is very stupid. But I might surprise you with this. So while it's a viral clip that's going around, quote unquote, explaining why this takes place. Don't know the creator's name, but in the clip he says athletes date white women because their girls look up to Taylor Swift, and white girls, I'm assuming he's saying when he says their girls, and black girls look up to Megan Thee Stallion. Ignorant to me. But then he goes on to say that black women expect to be pampered, especially in this NIL age where they know the players have the money. The players don't want to deal with that. And the white girls will treat them to dinner, take them. They appreciate the small coffee dates and stuff like that, whereas black women don't. Sticks, how do you feel about this clip? Do you think it's an accurate depiction of why black athletes date white women? That's the first question. Second question is, why is this always like, why is this still in 2024? Why is the interracial relationships, dating, a hot button topic?
So I'm gonna address the second question first. I think, me personally, love is love. It don't matter who you love and who you fall in love with, or who you decide to spend life with and experience life with. If it's a white girl, black girl, Asian girl, Indian, it don't matter, bro. Like you love who you love, and you appreciate who appreciates you back. You respect who respects you back. You reciprocate if reciprocation is given. So it don't matter, bro. To me, whoever you find love in is whoever you find love with, and lean into that, marry that. You know what I'm saying? Experience life with that. It don't necessarily matter, bro. If I, my girl is black, but if before her I decided to date a white girl, I dated a white girl. Who cares? Like who fucking cares? Really? Who cares? And I agree. I agree with. I agree a little bit with, you know what I'm saying, the state of relationships and dating in our community is honestly right now in shambles, bro. It's in shambles, and I would love to see our people together more often, and that's fine. But I would like to see that. But to me, it don't really matter, to be perfectly honest. Like if my boys wanted to date a white girl, as long as she treat her right, we gonna treat her the same. Like it don't matter. Now, as far as the conversation, it's one of them things that, like, the way our community is depicted in society is the reason why this conversation keeps coming up. Because you have women like Meg Thee Stallion, you got women like Lotto, and I don't even know if she's in the black community because she's Hispanic, but then you got Cardi B, and now you got Sexy Red, and now you got these other little artists that are coming out that are talking about the same thing Sexy Red talk about. And it's so weird, bro, because media makes our, how do I want to say this? Media makes our black women out to seem as if they're lesser than a lot oftentimes, more often than not. And it's just weird, bro, because you literally hear songs like Ski Yee, songs like F My Baby Daddy, songs like WAP, and it's all sung by our people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Women of color. And it's so weird. And us as men, we don't go towards that, to be perfectly honest with you. It's when we're looking for relationships. I don't want you out here talking about how wet your thing is, how, you know what I'm saying, like how you got multiple baby dads and you don't want to deal with them, how your coochie pink and your booty hole brown. We don't want to hear you talk about that. To us, it's not womanly. To us, it's not ladylike. And I think a lot of women that are ladylike would agree with that. And that is how our women are portrayed in society these days. Then they putting this on the radio for our kids to hear. And I think that's what, and it doesn't seem in public perception like our white counterparts are going that route. It doesn't seem like that. They might say it subtly in some of their songs, and we don't necessarily catch it because we don't listen to their music. But our music is blasted on the radio. Hip hop culture is the leading culture in America. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you got people like, Kendrick saying Drake is a culture vulture. That's why you got people saying that Justina Valentine is a culture vulture. You got DJ Vlad is a culture vulture. You got, they talk about Lotto being a culture vulture. And because they have their mixed race and they're in the hip hop community. So it's like, it's just the way that our women are portrayed in society and on social media and in the media that has a lot of these athletes saying that that's not what we look for in women. So why would we talk? Why would we go for that? And that's why they're dating the other race, because and as far as they want to be taken care of in this NIL age, do I agree with it? Do I think black women do it and white women don't? No. I don't think it's that over the top. I don't think all black women are doing that, and I don't think no white women are doing it. I think some of them would probably be like, okay, this man getting $2 million from this Gatorade sponsorship, he got the bread. I want him to take care of me too. A lot of women like security regardless, whether it's financially, protection, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is, they're gonna like that security. So if they feel like you're an NFL player, they got the security, the protection of that, you know what I'm saying, as far as you taking care of them, protecting them, and then the financial security, you possibly going to the league, but you also got millions in NIL in college, then they gonna lean towards that. And I'm not saying that the white women aren't doing it, but you only hear this from black women in the media, and that's what in the media is what's killing it. I don't think all black women are like that. I think they can find some amazing black women in college, but their experience is that because they have that notoriety and they have the bread and that's what their experience is. And you can't speak for all black women whenever it's just your experience and what you've experienced. So that's how I feel about it. I think it's a dumb argument. I think it's a dumb conversation. And of course, he went viral for saying it because it's going to pull on some heartstrings. It's going to make some people upset. But it's a dumb argument. It's a dumb conversation to have, bro. It's so stupid that they're making it seem like our black women are like this. But that's what the media portrays, and that's what black women in the media, in entertainment, are portraying right now. And it's sad, bro. It's sad. What you think?
So I have mixed feelings about this, pun intended.
Heard you.
Because I don't know. For those that listen to us on a regular, I always talk about my wife. But
what's up, sis?
My wife is white presenting. Her friends say she's white presenting. She's lighter than me, but she's mixed. She has no issues with. Just get this out of the way. She has no issues with. I don't want to say playing both sides. She understands that her skin looks the way it does, so people will perceive her as being fully white. However, she probably is. This is gonna be dumb. She probably is more black than I am, if we're being honest.
I can see why. I can see why you say that. I can see why you say that.
And now, I'll say why, because some of the things that she stands for and like she's passionate about, like I'm like, well, you at least have to have a conversation with this person. You know what I mean? Not to give too much information away, but she's very passionate about certain things when it comes to how people are treated, so on and so forth. Like if you're not on her side with it, most times she don't want to hear it. She's starting to open up more as I'm in her ear. I'm like, okay, you at least have to have a conversation to understand why they feel that way. And then you might change their opinion on it. They may change their opinion on it. Getting off topic here, but I have a white presenting wife. And the reason I have mixed feelings about it is because for me, like you said, you love who you love, you like who you like, and it shouldn't have anything to do with your skin complexion or that type of thing. And so most of the players that you see in these drafts, not all, but most, they attended PWIs.
For sure.
And in their proximity, the majority of women on those campuses tend to be white. Small percentage is black, small percentage Latino, small percentage Asian, so on and so forth. So on campus, they're seeing these white girls, some attractive, maybe some aren't attractive, whatever the case is. They're flocking around because of their notoriety. They're giving them attention because of their notoriety. Some of these players may even come from a mixed household. Some of these players may be curious because where they come
They ain't
from,
never seen
white girls aren't
Right.
prevalent. And so now that they're getting that attention from them, it's like, well, let me see what this is about. If she with it, I'm with it. You know what
facts.
I mean? I went to a PWI. I've moved all around Fayetteville, so I've experienced all different types of coaches in Fayetteville. The high school we went to predominantly black, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, but when I got to my college, Wake Forest, PWI, when I first got there, just about every black girl on campus was an athlete. There wasn't many other black girls on campus. There was a lot of white girls on campus, obviously. So I feel like the proximity plays a piece into why we see what we see in the draft. However, I'm not going to act like I haven't had conversations with other men, black men, not just athletes, for why they typically date outside their race. And again, I love black women. My wife would smack the taste out my mouth if she ever heard me say that I don't like black women,
sure.
Right? I don't respect black women. But I mean, it's not just black women. I am attracted to all races. And so, but back to the point, I have heard multiple men say why they don't like black women. And I feel like the reason this is still a hot button topic in 2024 is because 26% of black men date outside of the race or are married to somebody outside of the race. And 12% of black women date outside of the race or are married outside of the race. And so we know, because of the systemic racism and all of the jazz that's going on right now, that the percentages of black men compared to black women are a lot lower now because of men being in jail, maybe homosexual, whatever the case may be. Heterosexual black men, statistically, from what I have read, I don't know if this is actually true, but that there are a lot less heterosexual black men available to black women than there's ever been before. And so the black women's pool of men already is lower than it should be. Of available heterosexual men is already lower than it should be. And then you have 26% of those available heterosexual men date outside their race. Now, that's a good question. I don't know if this 26% is saying across the board, like heterosexual or homosexual, or I just know it's 26%.
It's all good.
So you have that already. You have the available heterosexuals already dwindled down, and then those that dwindle down, not from being homosexual or being incarcerated, that percentage is dating outside of race. So now you have a smaller pool. I feel like black women feel shunned, and I understand why they feel that way, especially when you have the narrative out there is like they're too aggressive, they're too ratchet, they're too whatever the case may be. And so they're trying to play the game and be with who they want to be with, because like I said, only 12% date outside their race. Black women date outside of race. They want to be with black men, but it's not seeming like black men want to be with them. So I have mixed feelings about it, because I don't feel like it's strictly because of what was said in this clip, like the ratchetness, or because they want to be pampered, they want to be taken care of, they don't want to do anything. But I'm not gonna sit here and act like I haven't heard the conversation before.
Right. And I feel where you're going with that. It's just one of those things where if because I came from but shoot, about 75% of Fayetteville is the hood, but I grew up on the Mert, which is historically the most dangerous part of Fayetteville. I went to E. Smith, which was the probably the blackest school in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I went to a HBCU.
At the time,
I went to a HBCU where you rarely see any white people in general. You know what I'm saying? And
right,
I have never been in a relationship with a white girl, because that's not what I've ever been presented with. You know what I'm saying? Not so that I would never have done it, but I haven't. You know what I'm saying? I've been friends with some white girls, you know what I'm saying? But I've never, you know what I'm saying, been in a relationship with one, if you feel what I'm saying.
I'm with you. I follow you. I follow you. But that, yeah, I mean, but that's.
But I had to go.
I consider that the same thing, so to speak. I mean, you might not have been in a full on relationship with them, but you've had some
experience, right?
run-ins.
But it wasn't because I was presented with it on the regular. I had to be at Duke or at NC State or at UNC or at UNCG or UNC Charlotte or somewhere around the proximity of a PWI to be able to experience that. Because I went from Fayetteville to Durham. Both of them are hand in hand hood. Basically the same. You feel what I'm saying? So like I was not around too many white folk. You see what I'm saying? So
in those two cities, the majority is
black.
The ethnicities.
For sure.
Yeah.
The people of color. So it's one of those things where I was never presented with it. But I can understand D-Lo's argument about, you know, they probably came from situations like mine, like me and D-Lo's, and from the hood, ended up being a 5-star athlete, going to a predominant PWI, and that's all you see. And then you got the media portraying the black woman as if they're ratchet. They got multiple baby daddies. They all they do is twerk. They talk about their body parts. They do all of these things is what the media is portraying all women to be. And as a man, that's not what we go after. You know what I'm saying? So not all of us, in a sense. Not all of us.
So yes, you're right. The normal man, not I was gonna say normal black man, but just a normal man in general. We typically don't go for that. We enjoy looking at it.
Agreed.
However, when it's talking about being in a relationship with this person, with that type of person, typically is shunned upon. But as I'm talking about this out loud, we have situations where high profile celebrities, whatever, in our culture, it seems like that is what they go for. And let's think about what we just talked about earlier, with the beef, not necessarily Drake and Kendrick, but just all the beefs that's been going on in 2024, the Quavo and Chris Brown beef. Now I'm not calling Karuchi or Sweetie that type, but they have been with multiple individuals right. They don't carry themselves. Sweetie's debatable. She's on the fence.
Yes, she is.
She's on the fence.
I mean, 6-figure man.
Karuchi, not so much.
6-figure, I want a 6-figure, type. She talk about wanting to be pampered, taken care of, don't want to work, all of these things. That's what she talk about. And that's fine. And like you said, Karuchi, not necessarily, her music wasn't about that for real. And
Karuchi, she doesn't sing.
What was Karuchi trans?
She's an
actress. That's right. That's right. You're right.
She was a model / actor. Right.
Right.
But again, proximity, same thing. Proximity. So like they are, those two women that I'm talking about, they are celebrities. They've only dated celebrities, so to speak, since as long as we've known them. And so, but to us, to the outside world looking in, it's like, bro, these dudes could have any woman they want. Why they continue to date the same women? Why they continue to sleep with the same women and cause all these issues? So like the proximity thing for me is the in this, why do black athletes date white women is the main thing for me. And I know that's why it's a big argument and a big push for black athletes to come back home to HBCUs so you can avoid that situation. But again, it's you love who you love. Sometimes even if they go to HBCU, this has been my argument the whole time we've had this podcast, when we talk about the different topics and when we talk about stuff like this, where it's racial tension or some type of hot button topic, we don't own anything. So even if they go to HBCU, they get drafted to the NFL, they gonna be right back in the proximity of white people. So like, you love who you love, man. What catches your eye is what catches your eye. Yeah, if they go to HBCU, it's probably a better opportunity for them to remain with a black woman or be with a black woman. But I mean, who's to say? You really don't know.
Yeah, you really
just
don't.
because you see it on the draft night or whatever doesn't mean like those relationships are going to be forever, because we know a lot of them don't last forever once they get to the league.
I think a lot of it has to do with how our women of color are portrayed in the media. I think it has a lot to do with it. Hypersexualized, what they talk about, what they rap about, and I think that's just a small subset of women. I know all of our black women don't like that shit. Your wife don't like it. My girl don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's not all of our women. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's making it the clip, which I'll put a link to in the description box below, so y'all can go check it out. The clip is making it seem like all of our black women are like this. You know what I'm saying? And
which is why the athletes
do what they do.
To me, that's why I'm on the fence about it. It's stupid.
It's so stupid.
But I have seen and heard these conversations had before, and I'm like, y'all boys can't be serious.
They can't be D-Lo. But I mean, I understand the argument because of the portrayal of our women, but it's stupid because it's not all of them. And you can find on the PWI a cultured woman, you know what I'm saying, a woman of color, to be able to have a relationship with that's not about that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just take all that shit with a grain of salt. It went viral, but it went viral for the wrong shit, for real. But moving on to the last topic of the day, D-Lo, we saw Ryan Garcia beat the brakes off Devin Haney, right? We saw him beat the brakes off Devin Haney. Came in overweight. Was not, so with him being overweight, he wasn't up for the belt that Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, that is, he wasn't up for the belt that Devin Haney that he possessed. It was supposed to be a title fight, but it ended up not being because he was overweight. Was alleged that he was drinking beer at the weigh-in, which is weird.
There won't no alleged,
but I have a report on that. But
I got you. I got you. I spoke to some. Go ahead.
Yeah. But then it also came out that he tested positive for a banned substance. So, and there was also stories around him leading up to that fight that he was going crazy, and he was allegedly. So, D-Lo, how do you feel about this whole Ryan Garcia situation, and do you believe that he actually juiced?
So let's answer the last question first. I don't put it past him. We've had conversations about juicing before with other athletes.
Sure.
Our favorite athlete, and I said I wouldn't put it past him. We don't know these individuals. We don't know these people. We think we know them, but we don't know them, because what they put out on, what they release in social media, what we see on an ongoing basis, that's just what we see. We don't actually know these people. I think his last fight, he got, I don't want to say he got beat pretty badly, but
Tank Davis beat him. He beat him up.
Yeah, he ended, the fight ended with a body shot. So, and before that, I think Ryan Garcia was like beating people pretty.
Oh yeah, Ryan Garcia was fast. He's a good boxer. He's a good boxer for sure.
Yeah, he's a good boxer. He has a couple knockouts, and so I feel like, again, these are allegeds. I feel like if he was to do that, this would be a good reason to do it. Come back. It's the first fight he came back since the Tank fight, right? So it's the first fight since being knocked out by Tank. These two individuals, Tank and Devin, kind of fight similar a little bit, and so you don't want to be embarrassed. You don't want to lose that type of fight again. I could definitely see him juicing for that. As far as the situation is concerned about us swarming around Ryan Garcia right now, and is he going crazy? What's going on with him? He's come out and said that, he wanted people to think he was crazy before the fight. So all the attention would be on him, so it would gain more notoriety for that fight, so on and so forth. But he's actually not crazy, which is, I didn't read that the beer was fake that he was drinking after he was overweight. But when I said that, knowing what I know he said, I was like, oh, well, maybe I spoke too quick. So, I mean, boxing is a very physical sport. We know that individuals have gone on to have different type of illnesses and ailments following their boxing career, the most notable would be Muhammad Ali, who had Parkinson's disease from too many headshots and all of that stuff. So I mean, and we actually there has been a fighter that died in the ring, right? So I mean,
and
like boxing's
a fighter
physical,
that got hit in the back of the head and had to learn how to walk again, was in a coma. A lot of stuff, bro. A lot of stuff, bro. Yeah,
exactly. So you always hear stories about football and CTE. Boxing could easily be in that same category when we talk about head injuries and all that type of stuff. So that too, also, I wouldn't be surprised if he was actually going crazy. Maybe that's not the right word to say if we're talking about. But I wouldn't be surprised if we were seeing him deteriorate slowly in front of our eyes. But he has gone on record and said he is not. This is all an act, and so
so just to get into the craziness, he was going off talking about that he was tied down and he was forced to watch little kids get assaulted, quote unquote. He said he knows about quote unquote Bohemian Grove and knows the star elites that do all of these things. And he went off on Andrew Tate's podcast and had a phone call with him where he was talking about all of this stuff. And he was, seeing the different interviews, twitching and acting weird, but he was saying it was all a publicity stunt. He came out and said it was a publicity stunt. As far as the beer bottle that he drank from, he went on the PBD podcast and said it was filled with apple juice and sparkling water. Now, he said that out of his own mouth. Now, whether or not that's true or not, who knows? You know what I'm saying? We don't know. But
he said that.
We didn't say that. Right, exactly. That's the second time you said that, so that's the title. But it's one of those things where, like you said, bro, we wouldn't put it past our favorite athlete to be juicing. We wouldn't put it past Ryan Garcia either, because a lot of these players, it's been known through history of sports. A lot of these players would do anything to get the edge on the next man, to be named as the greatest, to be named as the home run king, to be named as the greatest boxer ever, to be named as the greatest basketball player ever. A lot of these people have gone the extra mile to have the edge on the next man. And I wouldn't put it past Ryan Garcia if he did. Now, it is alleged that he tested positive for ostarine. It's not a steroid, but it does stimulate muscle growth. So it's one of those things where it's a banned substance in boxing for a reason. You know what I'm saying? That he tested positive for that. He's coming out saying that he doesn't know even where to get the banned substance from. If it's in his system, he don't know how it got there, how he tested positive for it. So he's denying these allegations vehemently. You know what I'm saying? So
I just thought the apology or the denial was kind of weird. He had those two individuals standing behind him. The one girl, everything he was saying, she was like, yeah. I'm like,
why are you acting like this, bro?
What is their purpose? Facts. What is their purpose? Like they had no value to that
no
video.
Value at all.
So and my fault to cut you off, but that just popped in my head.
Yeah, man. But it's like now you got so initially whenever Ryan Garcia got beat up by, I'm gonna say beat up because he got beat up. When he got beat up by Gervonta Davis, you had Conor McGregor in the locker room showing him support. But now Conor McGregor's coming out and saying, nah, he was cheated. He cheated that way in. And now they saying he juicing. He deserves a lifetime ban from boxing. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people feel the same way. So it's one of those things, man, where, and now he got the whole beef going on with Gervonta Davis, with Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. And then you got the beef going on with Devin Haney's dad and Floyd Mayweather. And Floyd Mayweather supposedly told Ryan Garcia to go into the weigh-in overweight. You know what I'm saying?
He said that.
He said that. Say that. We ain't say it. Allegedly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's one of the things, man.
That's what
that's what she said. But that's what I wouldn't put it past them, because it's in the history books in sports in general that men will these men will do what they can to have a leg up on the next man and to be able to have that kind of advantage. So does he deserve a lifetime ban? I don't think so, man. There's been people in that have been reportedly juicing, in sports that haven't received lifetime bans, and in boxing as well. So I don't they think he deserves a ban. And if it's really true that he doesn't know how it got in the system, he don't know where to get it from, cool. All right.
But
they all say that. That's true. And you've seen people who have said that have juiced, that have gotten banned and are not in the Hall of Fames for it. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Did he juice? Allegedly. That's what he said. We ain't say it.
That's what they say.
We ain't say it. We ain't say it. But we're gonna see how everything comes up, because I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some coverage on this within the coming weeks. So we'll let y'all know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And y'all let us know what y'all think in the comments if y'all are real boxing fans. Me personally, I don't watch a lot of boxing, but I do watch some, some main events every once in a while. And I did happen to be interested in this one. I didn't watch the fight, but I watched the highlights from it. And it did seem like, I ain't gonna say that. Allegedly, he was in there with a lot of vigor and a lot of anger and a lot of advantage on Devin. So we're gonna see how it comes out.
All right, let's try to keep this short.
What up, bro?
But I got something.
What you got, big dog?
So you said you've been on record saying how fearful you are of AI.
Let's talk about it.
So experts believe that by the year 2045, humans will achieve digital immortality by uploading their minds to computers and then back into a different biology of synthetic body.
Oh, wait, hold on. Hold up. Digital mortality?
Immortality. Digital immortality. If I say mortality, I meant to say immortality.
Digital immortality. By being able to do what, D-Lo?
Load their minds onto the computer. And then once it's on the computer, they can load it to any biology, it says, or synthetic body. What are your thoughts on that?
Getting crazy. Boy, this shit getting crazy.
This is Black Mirror, bro.
This is that. But I was just about to say that. I feel like I'm in an episode of Black Mirror. If y'all haven't seen Black Mirror,
this is Black Mirror.
It was a Netflix series. If y'all haven't seen it, bro, I feel like I'm in an episode of Black Mirror, bro. Like, it's so, bro. So, okay. This would be my question. If you can load your consciousness into this AI and then load it to any synthetic body that you choose, does it mean you will never die ever? Now, you say immortality, but that's online. Like, that's, but
yeah. So yeah. If your consciousness is you, your spirit is you. Like, this is just a vessel. Like, this is just we harness this vessel. This body we're in is borrowed, but this consciousness is what is us. So yeah, you live on.
You know what you think, because you know what I think. y'all, the audience, if y'all been watching us for a while, you know what I think about AI. D-Lo, what you think?
So
speak on it, brother.
I definitely think it could be possible. That's 21 years from now.
But yeah,
2045 is 21 years from now, and the way technology has been advancing in the last 10 years to the current point that we are, I definitely think it's possible. Loading your entire consciousness onto a server and then putting it, to me, that could be far-fetched, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they got cooking in the lab right now, like stuff that we don't know about that they're doing on the back end. But we've always heard about people freezing certain things, their eggs, freezing cryogenics, freezing themselves allegedly, and then or just living forever by taking. Again, this is all conspiracy. That's what they say.
Man, we ain't say that. They said that.
We ain't say it. Taking the blood of young children and infusing it in yourself to continue to live and get that vitality and so on and so forth. So if that's going on now, again, allegedly, this is what they say. It's what we didn't say that. If that's going on now, I don't know what could go on 21 years from now. But I know I did read or hear some article or something where it says our body is 300 I don't know the byte size. Pegabytes, something like that.
I haven't heard. I don't know.
Let me see. Petabytes, is that a thing? Yes. So 30 million petabytes worth of DNA. So like theoretically, the internet, everything, not the internet, everything that has happened in this world is within our DNA to some form of fashion, is what I've heard. And so if you were to take everything that happened or that is on the internet right now and infuse it in our DNA, guess what it would be?
What would it be?
That 30 million petabytes.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Again, I don't know if that's true. It's something that I heard or saw
Right.
on Instagram or whatever. But so if that is the case, then that is a lot of data that we're uploading into, that we would be uploading to these different sites or servers or whatever. So for that service to take place, one or two things has to happen. Our energy source has to be amazing. Because that takes a lot of energy to keep all of that data up and running and in good standing. Two, the storage units, these server farms would have to be huge. And so again, who knows what data is going to look like 21 years from now? It could be, what we pay for 1 gigabyte or 1 terabyte of memory or storage right now could be 1 petabyte in 21 years. Who knows? But
yeah, it's
something to think about for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, bro. But I mean, so that's not what. So this right here is not what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that AI and robots are going to take over the world at some point. This right here is saying that we're going to be able to live. It's going to give us immortality and be able to live forever. That's something that I don't think I would want to live forever. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't think I would want to. But it's interesting for people who, because we're not supposed to do that. We're not supposed to do that. Like we're not supposed to. So I don't think I would subscribe to this. But it's interesting for the people who would have, because I'm pretty sure you have to have a boatload of money to be able to do something like this. It will cost you crazy money in 2025 to be able to
probably initially.
Yeah, initially. Yeah. So it's one of those things where I probably not going. Well, I ain't gonna say that. 25 years from now, I probably could afford it. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to afford it. But it's one of those things where it's like, why would you want to live forever? Like,
this is my question. If that is the case, if you can essentially jump from body to body to live forever, your conscious, does that mean nobody is born at that point? Does nobody
crazy.
Get do we not conceive children at that point anymore?
I mean, people would never die. So I would assume the human race would die off. Like it wouldn't.
Yeah, you talking about stuff is overcrowded now. If people can continue to live through consciousness from jumping from one vessel to another, and then on top of that, I know birth rates are down in the last couple of years, but birth continues to happen.
The Earth
ain't gonna be nowhere to go on this planet.
Ain't gonna be nowhere to go.
We all gonna be. You know what? iRobot, bro.
Facts, big facts. That's exactly what it is.
We all gonna be in warehouse standing in rows and rows asleep.
Motherfucker gonna come up.
Right. Yeah, man. No. I mean, it's not far-fetched. They say that what we see on television, on movie screens, actually is in motion, but they're telling us that it's going to happen without blatantly telling us it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
we're going to have to see, man. We're going to have to see. 21 years from now, y'all look out for them vessels. Which one of y'all going to get a vessel when you all want to live a long time? Y'all let us know in the comment section below. But I got one more. We ain't got to spend too much time on this. So I was on Instagram and I noticed that, KG, Paul Pierce, they got a little it's called The Lounge Show. They got a little podcast. They talk about NBA talk, right? And I don't know if you've seen this, D-Lo, but Paul Pierce comes out and says that if you averaging 15 points in the NBA, you killing. And KG goes on to say, "Nah, I don't think you killing, you straight, but you know what I'm saying, if you averaging 30, 25, 30, 35 in the league, that's when you killing. But 15, you cool. Like you were cool, you know what I'm saying? Off the bench, 6 man, you cool. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be thinking to myself, what do I think? D-Lo, what you think about this? If you averaging 15 in the league, are you killing it? Are you killing in the league if you averaging 15?
I'm gonna say you're a solid player, but you're not killing it. Because my litmus, because we try to tear him down, so not us.
That's what they said that. We ain't say that. They said that.
They say this. We don't say this. Because they try to tear him down so much. My litmus is Bron. Okay. If Bron was averaging 15 points, even in year 21, they would tell that man he need to go ahead and retire. For an up and coming player or a player that's in year 7, whatever the case may be, 15 coming off the bench. If you coming off the bench or if you're a starter, you're a solid player. Mm-hmm. So I don't think you killing, but you
solid.
A person averaging 15 points can make $25 million a year in the NBA.
Big facts.
So
I think if I'm thinking this correctly, Malik Monk is making 25. I think Dante DiVincenzo, who we did a segment on last week.
Yeah, last week.
Is making. Let me look at contracts real quick. But in my let me see, Malik Monk contract with the Kings. Malik is making $20 million a year, and he's a 6 man. Yeah. Dante DiVincenzo.
So that's what I'm saying. He signed a 2-year, $9 million contract.
Who did? Dante DiVincenzo?
Yeah. So the average of his salary, I don't know what it is year by year, but the average is $4.6 million.
Okay, got you. So,
but you remember he didn't average that last year coming into the league.
For sure.
With Golden State, he was like maybe 5, 7, 10 points at most.
Maybe, but he showed out when he got to the Knicks. But yeah, Malik Monk is a 6 man of the year, averaging 6 man of the year candidate, averaging 15, 16 points a game, and he getting a $20 million contract with the Sacramento Kings. That's a 6 man.
Yeah.
My thing is, you ain't, to me, you straight. I'm with you know what I'm saying? I'm with D-Lo. I'm with KG. You solid. You know what I'm saying? You a solid player. Yeah. You can make or break a game. If the star ain't going off and you averaging 15, which means that you've had some games where you had 20, 25 points. You went off like that. You know what I'm saying? 30 even. For sure, maybe. For sure. So you can make or break the game if your star player who is killing it ain't going off at a average of 20, 25, 30 points a game. Like if why am I drawing point guard for Sacramento King? Why am I drawing a blank on his name right now? De'Aaron Fox. If De'Aaron Fox if he not going off for 25 like he usually do, and Malik Monk give you that 25, y'all can still win the game. You know what I'm saying? So you straight, you solid. That's why you're the 6 man of the year, because you can give starter production off the bench type thing. But you killing it when you get to Luka numbers, 32 points a game. You get to Jokic numbers, averaging 28, 30 points a game. When you get to, you know what I'm saying, numbers like that, that's whenever you killing. And you killing it with that 32 points triple-double, that's when you killing. That's like elite of the elite. Like you God tier in the NBA if you doing stuff like that. But killing it to me is like, killing it is Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson killing it. He averaging that 25, 8 and 4. Like that's killing it. Jalen Brunson is killing it. But you averaging 15, you straight. You cool. You know what I'm saying? You solid type shit. So, but Paul Pierce always got weird takes, man. Like every time I hear Paul Pierce talking about the NBA and what he would do and could do if he had this and that and averaging fit, I'd be like, bro, Paul Pierce, bro, shut up. Like sometimes be telling me to say Paul Pierce, shut up, bro. But I think I see where he's coming from when he say about the 15 points a game, though.
The 15 points, you a solid
for
player,
sure.
But at what point is it killing it? And I have
if you were a rookie right averaging 15 a game, you got star power. So you're killing it at that point because you're coming into the league with the best of the best players in the world, and you're averaging 15 points against them guys in your first year. Young guy like LeBron James, whenever he came into the league, he immediately averaged like 20 plus points a game, killing it. You know what I'm saying? Why am I drawing blanks on names today? Old boy from the Orlando Magic came in last year, was averaging 15 points a game. From Duke. Pablo Banchero.
Yeah.
He came in last year averaging 15, 16 points a game as a rookie. He was killing it. Now he on that upper echelon of 20 plus points a game. So he was killing it. But if you like, if you in your 10th year of the league and you still averaging 15 points a game, you're no longer killing it because people have surpassed you. So what's your real life example?
The question I'm asking is that what is the points per game? Where is that threshold where you say, yeah, he killing it?
25 points a game.
Oh, okay. Well then that makes sense then. So yeah, Anthony Edwards.
Oh, he killing it.
Averaged for the regular season. He killing it, right? The perception is he killing it. And I just want to make sure. But his regular season average was 26 basically points a game. He averaged 25.9 points a game. He makes, we know his contract. His contract's 5 years, $204 million contract.
$40 million a year.
All right. Now, in the same breath, Karl Anthony Towns is on a 4-year, $221 million contract. And he averaged, why didn't give me his stats? I just looked at it. He averaged like right at 21 points.
But the consensus about Karl Anthony Towns this year is that he was not killing it.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm trying to figure out where's that threshold. But yeah, I think if you're a 15 point per game person, you're not killing it. You're not a bad player. Like teams would pick you up if you still like within a good age range, if you have a little bit of name recognition. But 25 plus points, 30 points, yeah, you kill it.
Hold on, let me see something. I'm trying to see. Well, I ain't gonna look into it right now because we short on time. But yeah, I think you're not killing it. You solid. You're not killing it. Paul Pierce be having some bad takes. But I agree with KG. If you up there at the 25 to 32 points a game, you killing shit. You definitely killing shit.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, but let's go ahead and get up out of here, man. Episode 64
in the books, bro.
In the books. Again, as always, we want to thank you for tuning in to Too Complex. Remember that life is short and oftentimes complex. I got it right this time. But when it becomes too complex, don't be afraid to lean on those that you love the most to help you find simplicity and balance in life. Drake is going to need 100%. That. Kendrick is going to need that after what they've gone through the last couple days. Stay prayed up in this crazy world. A few requests thrown above can return you peace and sanity. Thanks for loving us and supporting this podcast. It means the world to us, and we're sending our love right back to you. Don't forget to subscribe on wherever you listen to the podcast, and also follow us on all of our social media platforms. That's YouTube, that's Instagram, and that's Threads as of right now. We probably should create a Facebook page because TikTok is on the verge of getting banned. Who knows what's going to happen with that. We're going to see about that. But as always, if it ain't too complex, it ain't complex at all. And until next time, we'll see you when we see you.
Salute.
Salute.
All right, let me go ahead and get it because I know it's